everybody. Good evening. Thank you. I'd like to call to order a meeting of the Hull Planning Board. It is Thursday, May 14th, and it is about 7:32. I'd like to do a roll call starting on my left.
Peyton here.
Borges here. Lehman here. Schulte here. Riley here. Paquin here.
Chris Diorio, Town Planner.
Thank you. This evening, we were meeting to continue a public hearing on the petition of the applicant, The Point Nantasket Realty LLC, 50 Milk Street, 16th floor, Boston, for a site plan review on land located at 839, 843, 845 Nantasket Ave. Assessors maps 12, lot 106, 108, 109, and 110. The applicant is proposing to construct a multifamily residential building with 9 townhouse-style units, approximately 17,436 square feet, an accessory pavilion building, approximately 6,600 square feet, and 2 accessory canopy structures for covered parking, approximately 5,297 square feet. The property contains approximately 3.28 acres. Copy of the plan is on file in Town Hall, 2nd floor, for inspection by the public during operating hours or on the town's website. Earlier today, we were contacted by the proponent that they would like to have a continuance, and I'm going to read a letter that they submitted to us. It is addressed to myself, Jean Paquin, Chair of the Planning Board, regarding 839, 843, 845 Nantasket Ave, Hull. Dear Chair Paquin, you will recall that we represent The Point Nantasket Realty LLC with respect to the proposed redevelopment of the project at 839, 843, and 845 Nantasket Ave, Hull. We had further conversations with Chris Diorio, the Director of Community Development, who requested that the LLC agree to 2 additional meetings and an additional extension of the decision period. It is unclear that the 2 additional meetings are necessary, and the LLC repeats its request to please continue the public hearing scheduled for May 14th to May 27th, 2026. This should be sufficient time for the LLC to review the proposed conditions, which the LLC has just received, and to provide any necessary responses to additional comments provided by the DPW and the request for additional traffic information. We will provide any responses sufficiently prior to May 27, 2026, so the Planning Board has ample time to review. However, the LLC is willing to assent to the extension of the decision period through June 4th, 2026. Lastly, given that requests for continuances are routinely allowed by the Planning Board and LLC and its teams, the LLC and its teams are not planning to attend the meeting tonight, and we respectfully suggest that the Planning Board not substantively address the pending application. Thank you. Very truly yours, Adam Brodsky, DTM Law, PC. We received this morning, and we have also received advice from Town Council. I reached out to him today, Chris and myself. Jean, as Chris has relayed, you are not required to grant a request for a continuance. It's not a right, it's a request. You/the board are free to debate the merits of it, and if you see fit to proceed with the hearing, the board can also elect to do so. I understand the applicant isn't giving you as much time as you need/requested, but they did extend the deadline to act for now. Maybe they grant another extension, maybe not. All that being said, why is the hearing dragging? If it is because the applicant isn't cooperating and isn't providing sufficient information, or timely information, what do you gain by extending the hearing? If you think more time makes it a more informed, meaningful process, then a continuance may make sense. But if you're spinning your wheels, then maybe not. Is the information you're seeking likely to lead to a grant with conditions, or will it just postpone the inevitable because the info doesn't change the underlying defects as the board sees it? I'm not trying to tell the board what to do, I'm just trying to help the board make an informed decision. And that is from Brian Winter, who is our town council. So, board members, I know for some of you, this is the first year hearing of this. Shondell?
Could we also, we received a letter from Chris regarding the interpretation of our request for additional person look at the zoning. Could we read that into the record?
Sure. Is that in this packet, Chris?
I'm not sure that letter, but I think Brian also commented on that.
If we could, I'd like the actual letter, right?
There's a letter from Brian here too, about that exact.
Yeah, I just don't want the one that you sent us.
I don't know if I printed that up.
It's-
I don't know if I have that.
Let's see. No, this is right from Chris, this is from Mr. Winter.
So Shondell, which one is that now? I'm
It's the
sorry.
one that Chris sent to us, and
Okay.
the interpretation that he received from town manager and town council. We had requested additional,
You requested a
Peer
third
review.
party to
Peer review,
review,
yeah.
to review the zoning determination.
correct.
Right.
No, that's not actually what we requested. We requested advice on how the board itself should move forward under these conditions. We were not trying to override.
I'm
the
sorry, hold on a
decision.
moment, Abby. Okay, we need to speak up because remember, we're not mic'd in this room, so we need to speak up.
We did not seek advice as to whether or not that ruling was correct. We were not trying to overturn the ruling of the building inspector. We were seeking outside advice on how the planning board should proceed under these circumstances, which are somewhat unique. And we wanted advice from an expert on that. So I think that has gotten muddled in the translation, and that, I believe, is what Attorney Winter was responding to. But again, not trying to overturn the decision of the building inspector, just trying to have greater insight as to what our responsibilities are and how we're supposed to conduct our business under these circumstances.
Yeah, I think that the question was, is under our purview to have all the information that we need to do a site plan review, which is what we're contemplating right now.
This letter?
And I believe some of that was kind of put into one thing about whether this is correctly zoned or not. And for me, you'll read this letter, but for me it was, no, do we have the information and all the relevant facts to make a decision? And I think those are completely separate questions. One may parlay into the other, but I think the way that was presented and the way I think that we were trying to approach it was strictly from getting additional information to make an informed decision.
Okay, I wasn't at that meeting, but that's kind of how I understood it was about reading the zoning bylaw and the third party and looking at that decision that was made regarding the that being a multifamily building as opposed to different units and separate units. That's how I understood the question was.
We were not questioning that decision.
That
That was
being
what
said-
my response was to.
Yeah, that being said, I do think a lot of the questions stem from that we haven't resolved that, even though it may not be under our purview. I don't feel comfortable saying yes to something when I haven't seen the complete design. When they said at first it was gonna be continuous awnings, and now it's not, it's under chapter 91, but then they have a phase 2. That's the crux of what our responsibility is, and some of that hinges on the answer to those questions about how it's zoned. Because if it was zoned because A, B, and C, then we need to make sure those things are incorporated into our plan.
Is this the letter?
No, I'll get it on my phone.
Okay. I'm sorry, Cindy. Cindy?
Yes. I just wanted to speak to the fact about the changes, you know, there's so many multiple changes and how that's been hard for people to follow, all the department heads, all of us.
Point of order, when I hate that term, we really are having a hard time hearing you guys. Those are TV
Okay.
mics, so if you could kind of project a little bit.
Okay.
Talk
I'm-
out this way.
I'm saying that I think part of why it has been delayed is because they've made 5 changes to the plans since January 21st. And that's hard to keep up with for all the department heads. You know, we have multiple meetings, we've put in the extra meetings, and I feel like we're still in the same, we haven't seen a design. We haven't seen any renderings besides those white ones. This is not very respectful of our,
Process.
yes, exactly, the process, perfect. And also the way that it started to begin with, it was received on January 21st, the application. We didn't have our first hearing until March 17th, or March 18th, because of all these problems with the application, which I think still linger and are convolute other things, and then the next change happens, and then it just everything's compounding, and it's hard to straighten out all the problems. I see a lot of little problems, but like in totality, it just becomes a big, it's hard to untangle now, because you've got all these multiple revisions which haven't been dated. Some of them, they have the initials, but no date on them. The original plan that was from December 2nd has no initials on it, and then it just became another plan in January where the revisions begin. Why was it not revised on the December where the decision was made? Why did we skip over to a new plan when it has the same plan number on it? I don't know the answers to these questions because I don't know how they exactly flow, but I can see differences that don't align with the other changes. There's 2 sets, and it's just hard to, and then they miss it. I mean, not that they miss it, but it's not listed on the stormwater report. One of the revisions isn't listed on there. So it's a lot to go back and correct. I just don't know how to move forward in the best way.
Thank you, Cindy. Chantel, did you come up with that? Okay, I know. Abby?
May I ask one question?
Sure.
Related to our agenda tonight?
Yeah.
Sorry. I had a question regarding the agenda tonight. My understanding, it's entirely possible, it has changed in yet another plan version, but that there are no longer 2 accessory canopy structures for covered parking.
Yep, that's the original public hearing notice.
Okay.
Yes.
And we need to keep that,
Sorry, that's
Language
the
in
original
there?
public hearing notice is in the agenda.
we need to keep it
That
identical.
is typically, yes, that was the original, that's what started this whole process rolling, so that stays the same.
Okay.
Because if you think about it, would we change this for every little change that happens? No, that was how it was advertised, and that's how it will continue.
Okay.
So, I'm vamping Shondell, but
Just keep going. I'm not used to having like computer access in any of our meetings, so this is,
yeah,
throwing
I
me
know,
for a loop
I
here.
know,
You
I know.
can search it on my name too, if you want,
Does
because I
anybody else?
responded.
Nathan, do
So
you
you
have
could-
anything?
Oh, fine. Good for me.
Do my notes down first.
Oh, okay, fine. All right. This is kind of unusual, so I would appreciate your patience with us. I've been at this for a long time, and it has not happened like this before, so. Cindy?
And then another point I just wanted to make was all these people that are here that have been, I read all the letters that people have written in, and they're amazing information that's so helpful for everybody to get a sense of what this project is really about, and I don't think that those letters have been taken into response by the applicant so much as far as like that utility building. We're pretty far into this to be, not having progress. And it seems to, some people feel it goes backwards, that it's not been improved or not what it was told in the beginning. So to continue this process seems like it's just gonna continue to move in the wrong direction.
Abby?
I'd like to ask the question as to what conditions were presented to the applicant that they are working on between now and the next time that they appear before this body, because I am pretty sure that they don't have our final list of questions, and I'd like to know what's actually been put in front of them.
So you're asking not what conditions, what requests have been made to the applicant?
Yes.
Or
Okay,
conditions.
okay.
Or what it is that they've alluded to that they are working on in advance of the next meeting.
We could
As I
not say.
know, I don't think they're working on any additional responses. I think it's their opinion that what they've provided you guys is what they want to move forward with. And they wanted to give, there's been a lot going on in the last week or two, and I think they wanted to give, some extra time for the board to be able to review that. If we do have some additional requests from them, we should certainly send them.
Abby?
We have not really received any additional information, or nothing certainly substantially new. We are still owed a good amount of information. And my understanding is that over the course of the last several days, members of the board had been sending you requested information that should be requested from the applicant. Has that been forwarded on to the applicant?
The thing I requested from them was, I know there was a request for elevations that kind of show the buildings in relation to the buildings around them. That's been requested.
So at this point in time, that is the only thing that the applicant believes is outstanding on their end?
I think they also responded to a request for to update the transportation memo, which they did provide, but it's piecemeal. So I think they need to put that all together for cars traveling south on Fitzpatrick, taking a left onto Nantasket to go up the hill. There's been some questions about the sight lines making that turn.
And the plan is to do what about that?
To look at the sight lines, to have an engineer look at it, to make sure that it works.
That is something that should come from us. I mean,
Correct.
that we should be selecting the consultant/engineer. That is not something that the applicant should be doing on their own.
Well,
And
typically they do it, and
No.
then we can have our consulting engineer review it, or have his traffic people review it. We don't do the plans for them.
No, but they pay based on who we select. We select the consultant. That's not something that they do and then we say, okay or not okay. So,
No, that is what happened. They do the plan. They look at the sight line. They have an traffic engineer. They submit it to us. If we want, we can have our engineer review that.
but they have to pay for that.
Yes.
And we need a traffic study, not a transportation study.
Can I just
Meg?
add, first, I have two questions. One is procedural. I mean, should we have a request for a continuance before us. So are we at this point now discussing whether or not we want to grant that? Or are we continuing, or are we proceeding with this public hearing without the applicant present?
I guess I was waiting for Shondell.
Okay.
Chris, you sent it, do you have,
I don't think I have a copy of it.
is it on the website, is it posted?
Is it on your email?
I just feel like it should be public record to know that that is the counsel that we received
Yep.
for our request.
Can I ask my,
What's that?
Isn't it a letter from your attorney advising the board how to behave? Isn't that what we're talking about?
No, he gave an interpretation about our request for additional information.
Okay, well, it's from your attorney though.
Yes.
I'll tread carefully.
It was a response to what I believe was the question, which was, you know, can we get a third person in here, or a third party in here to review this, you know, for the zoning bylaw review, for zoning review? That
And
was
to be
my,
clear,
that was
it
my
came from
understanding.
So we received it from Chris, not
Yep.
from the attorney.
Advice from the attorney came through, Chris?
Yes,
It was a
Oh, the
memo,
same issue.
but we,
memo that,
Doesn't matter where it came from, you have the
we
same
have the
issue.
ability to waive.
You guys do what you want,
right?
but you have an issue.
We have plenty, so we'll just add that to it, but thank you for the advice.
can I go back to my question?
sure, Meg.
Which was, Jean, do you know if, we, or does anyone else on the board know or recall, did we vote to request a traffic study?
No.
We did not, okay. So I think that is something that, if that is something that we want, we should vote to formally request that from the applicant. But I, again, go back to,
What are we doing here?
yes.
Precisely. Abby?
I would suggest that we open the hearing so that we can get on the record the information.
Hearing's already open. The public hearing has been opened.
I already opened it.
Okay.
We are supposed to be deciding, do we want to vote up or down their request for a continuance?
Well, is there other discussion that we can have prior to that point? Does that have to be our first?
We can discuss the continuance. Do we want to grant them a continuance or not? Nathan? And speak up.
Don't normally have to raise my voice to get attention, but
I
that's
know.
fine. All right, so I understand the proponent has a legitimate interest in moving this project along quickly. Time is money. But at its fundamentals, this process is deliberative. It is a conversation between the community, this board, and the proponent. It takes the time it takes to get to a high-quality project that this community finds acceptable. They've proposed something. We're having a conversation about it. They've proposed changes again and again. They deliver us piecemeal information, and we need the time, both as a community and as a board, to digest that and give feedback. So I'm a little bit concerned that, one, they're not giving us the time that we've requested, but I'm also concerned with the request for us to not deliberate in a meeting that they chose not to come to, where we're being told that the purpose of their absence or the request to extend is to give us more time. It's a deliberative process. We're a board. We should be talking about it. That's how we learn and get to agreement. So I'm just not all that moved, and while I'm happy to grant a continuance because we do it all the time, right? I don't think that we should stop the conversation because that's the process and that's how we learn. That is all.
Okay. Abby?
Are you?
Yeah, no,
Oh, I'm
I was
sorry.
just, I was just asking from a procedural point, but I think it sounds like it's up for our discretion whether or not we.
It is.
So I agree, we can continue discussion.
To town council's point, is extending this, continuing it, extending the process really going to make a difference? My concern is that we have asked for information over and over. We have asked for things to be stated more clearly, repeatedly. I know the Design Review Board has asked for information several times. And I guess my question to my fellow board members would be, if we take the time today to articulate a very specific, I've drawn up next steps and internal questions to resolve, information from applicant owed to planning board, and then further comments. Is there actually a chance that they would provide all of this based on, I would say based on the letter that they sent today? It does not appear that they believe that they owe us any additional information. So is a continuance going to be worth the time for any of us, including the applicant, based on what we have already seen in all of these meetings? I don't know. So I don't know that it's a slam dunk.
Cindy?
On the letter that they requested the continuance for, what was the end of it, where they said they would give us to the 27th?
We will provide any responses sufficiently prior to May 27th, so the planning board
Yeah.
has ample
So
time
they're
to
gonna-
review.
They're gonna respond prior to our meeting date, which means probably the day of at noon. Maybe we'll get it.
We shouldn't say that.
But
There,
this, the way that they listed this is, they should have said sufficiently prior to this. What is sufficiently prior to? Because it doesn't really,
2 weeks.
that's, yeah. And then the reason why we didn't request the traffic study last time was because they still hadn't adjusted their plans to reflect that the police chief had said that he didn't want the on-street parking. They thought they would have some multiple conversations after the last hearing with him that might change it somehow, so I guess that didn't happen. But that was why we didn't request the thing, was because they thought things might still be changing as of the last time.
Abby, I'm sorry, Meg.
Were we not expecting something coming back from Chesia as well and their kind of review on that?
That's been provided.
No,
John's response.
no, not to the April 29th. He responded on April 29th, and you can tell within his report that it doesn't go
No, that
through
came
the
in.
29th. One of them,
Chesia, May 12th. We have a Chesia, May 12th.
Okay, so Chesia was not going
Well,
to
let's
come
see.
back and review
we have to
it.
check everything, that's the deal.
He did send another
You have one, May 12th?
Right here, it's in the
letter,
packet.
but he had,
May,
Right
May
here.
12th.
he still had concerns.
Yep. May
So-
12th, they responded.
So there are still issues that our consultant has relative to what they've
Right,
provided.
okay. And I apologize, I did not see that in the
He also provided
flurry of activity.
Actually,
potential conditions to address those issues.
Okay,
So,
I mean, that was one of the reasons that I
Chris?
thought we needed an extension for a couple additional meetings, because we just had this coming in. You know, we had his response coming in this week.
we're,
So-
well, as my request was, that knowing we were meeting tonight, and that we would go over stuff, and then we would meet on the 27th, probably with more responses, information, and I was hoping that our last meeting would be June 10th, and requested a deadline of June 11th, and that was not granted.
But originally, this was supposed to be the last meeting, and we were supposed to have a decision by next Tuesday. So, that's why I think, we needed this time.
Abby?
There's, under no circumstances could we make a decision based on this information, and you admitted that.
actually, if I may.
I agree.
I'm not saying that I agree with this, and I'm not saying this is the way I want to go, but I do want everyone in the public to also understand that, within our zoning code, under board actions, the planning board can waive the requirements for site plan review if in the opinion of 2/3 of the majority of the planning board, that the adverse impacts of the proposed development are not significantly greater than the impacts of uses which are or can be made of the site under existing laws and regulations. We have that power. I don't think that we should exercise it, but I want to make sure that everyone knows that that is within our purview. If we did decide to go in that direction, because we felt that what was being put forward here was going to be an overall better benefit than what is currently there. Now, I think we've heard a lot from the public that would really give me pause before we exercise that, and I don't think we should. But I just want to put that out there, that I think we need to be very careful, and we need to really be spot on about what we have asked for, because when we provide if we deny the project, we have to be very clear about why.
True.
Cindy and then Abby.
Okay, so, what I was thinking of was the transportation memo, that was dated May 12th. This does not have, it's not clear which revision. It just says on the transportation memo dated April 1st, the first thing he writes is the evaluation was performed based on the April 1st, 2026 site plans for the project. On the May, now they had a change on April 1st, April 15th, and April 29th. So on this one dated May 12th, says CEC has prepared a transportation memo to summarize this. The evaluation has been updated to reflect the most recent plans that have removed on-street parking. That doesn't give me a date. That doesn't make me feel right because they gave a date on this one. There's so many inconsistencies like that that are just overlooked, and it's on this Chesia one here, the one dated April 23rd, they didn't put the February 18th revisions on this sheet. The ones that are not initialed, those ones, those are not listed on this sheet. So missing 2/18/26 revisions on Chesia's April 23rd. So if the March 23rd, yeah, it doesn't have them either. So,
So you have concerns about missing information?
yeah, I sent an entire list, which probably has about maybe 30, 40 things that are not right, which just keep getting moved along because nothing gets fixed before the next thing comes out. And these people, for another thing, our department heads can't keep up with this. We have very few comments from our department heads at this point that have the date on it, that they have reviewed the latest plans.
I understand. To my mind, that is an internal process that we need to work on. We can't necessarily hold the proponent responsible for that. I'm just saying. So it's something I'm mindful of. Abby and then Meg? Oh, I didn't know, Nathan, I'm sorry.
It's a terrible shape of the table, so I'm gonna sit here so you can see it.
Yes, thank you, I appreciate that. Nathan?
Oh, no, you all recognize others. Okay, no, I'll go because I
Go.
think we're having a circular conversation.
Okay.
I guess the crux of what we're talking about right now is what do we want to do?
Yes.
And I think Abby has provided us with some thoughts there. Like, we could take this time, we have a limited amount of time together tonight, we won't see each other for a while. Do we want to take this moment to reiterate what we think are the important pieces of information that we are waiting for, that we want, the things that we are concerning about this project? Do we want to hear more from the community? I realize that the proponent has asked that we not have a substantive conversation. I find that argument utterly invalid. But it's the decision of the board. Maybe we do wish to hear more because people may have concerns. All of that said, it's a project in a really important, very visible spot in town that has a really, I wouldn't say it's the best building, I'll be generous, right? It's not the best collection of structures there now, and I think lots of people would be interested in seeing something else. Do they want to see this? Many do, many do not. But I'd love to hear their feedback, whether they like this, don't like this, if there's changes they want to see based on what they've seen so far. That's what I think we should be doing with our time. I don't want to spend all night talking about shouldn't we extend this period or not, when we could be making a substantive process step that offers this project the best chance, right, to be responsive to the community's concern, to this board's concerns, so that we have a productive meeting next time, if at all possible. And if not, then so be it.
Okay. Abby?
I am concerned that if we sit down and revisit the list of outstanding items, and also add a few more, because the project itself has changed so many times and so rapidly that it has been difficult to know what it is, what additional information we should be asking for, because, you know, the second version of the plans, the information would be different than the third version of the plans. And I think that we need to have what is essentially a final set of plans so that we know what questions to ask. Apparently, they're working on revisions. We have no idea what revisions they're working on. We don't know what changes they're planning on making, because we don't know. So if we ask for additional information, say a traffic study, it's entirely possible that they come back and the driveways are in a completely different spot. So I'm not honestly sure how to handle that, because we want information that is based on what it is that they're actually planning on doing, and that has changed so many times.
If I could, they're not saying that they're submitting anything else. In their letter, they clearly state, this should be sufficient time for the LLC to review proposed conditions which they've just received to provide any necessary responses. But they're not indicating like, yeah, we're going to be sending some new plans along to you.
Do we know what conditions they're reviewing, though? Do we know what they're considering? What's in front of them that they are planning on responding to? Chris?
Right.
I mean, right now, I don't think they're planning on responding to anything until if we have some additional questions, we should create them in this meeting.
That's not what
and
the letter
request them.
says.
That is what the letter says.
Okay. Meg?
I
think we know.
I'm a little thrown off by that last comment, but I'll go back to it. I think we're in a tough spot here because, again, I would personally like to hear from the community, provide that feedback, plans change because, ideally, because they're changing things in the direction and, based on our feedback. So I think part of the issue is that the changes are not necessarily in that direction. So I just want to be clear, like the plans changing aren't necessarily the problem. We would expect plans to change based on feedback. If they're not changing based on the feedback that we want, that's an issue. What we could do, right, and I'm again confirming, is that we could hear from the public, we could ask for some things, we could say, we want these things, and then if we don't have them by the 27th, if that's what we're voting on, then the dice, that's their choice. The dice roll where they are. And, I do think that we might have quorum issues, and hopefully Adam understands that. But I'm frustrated that we're in this position now because we were planning on, I thought that there was going to be more response from them today. I thought that we would have further things to look at.
Okay. Do we want to open it up to comments from the public at this point?
I would be in favor of that.
Can we make a caveat that if folks have written,
Speak
I'm sorry.
Speak.
Can we make the caveat that if folks have written wonderful letters, which we have received, that they either let someone else speak or raise a topic that is not already in their letters? Or is that inappropriate to do? I don't know.
It's kind of inappropriate.
Okay.
I am going to start in the front row, Harry, and then I would also, actually, let me go to Julia first. Julia is on our design review board, and then I'm gonna start.
So the design review board met last night. The applicant was not there. This is our third meeting to review this project, and we met once with a joint meeting with the planning board. We had a unanimous vote last night of a recommendation to the planning board to deny this project. And the basis of it was the number of incomplete, the amount of incomplete information, and that we felt that it also didn't adhere to our regulations very specifically. And I have to say that in light of the comments we've just heard, we've also felt like the design has taken steps backwards as opposed to actually responding to our comments and improving as we go through this process. We've met with them starting in mid-February, so our meetings have been successive. We've put together a very clear list of what materials we were recommending, including in mid-February that there was a code analysis of the project supplied by the architect. And this has been out there for quite a while. That drove us to making the recommendation of a denial because we feel like this process is just going on without coming to resolution.
It's disrespectful.
Thank you,
Julia. Name, and I forgot, name and address, please.
Harry Hibbert, 85 Bay Street. As I understand what's going on here, you're discussing whether or not to continue this at their request for one more meeting. They refuse to allow you 2 more meetings, and that's what's in front of you. I think you either grant that request and agree to let them decide how many meetings you hold and how much the town gets to contribute to the discussion, or you deny it and let them deal with it. Because fact of the matter is, you don't have another choice. You can't say, oh, we agree to the continuance, but we want all these things, because then you're in the same boat when the continuance date arrives. If I were you, sorry. In my opinion, the best course to take here would be to deny them and then let them either buck up or walk away. Because there's a very clear possibility that what's going on here is they're looking for a reason to walk away. So.
Thank you. Ed?
Ed Parsons, 163 Nantasket Ave. I was just wondering, I think Maggie answered it for me, and I think Harry just did too. If you grant them the continuance, and then say the 27th, you've gone through everything you needed to, and you haven't made up your mind yet, and they don't want to give you another continuance, that's it right there, right?
We'd
Then
have to
your time
vote.
limit- then your time limit is up?
We would have to vote.
You would have to vote? The time limit is up?
It's, we vote, or it's constructive approval, in which case,
Right.
Okay,
yes,
thank you.
yes. Okay, George?
George Wallen, 150 Kadish Avenue. I haven't been able to find the plan, and perhaps Mr. DiOrio can answer the question, but there is a paper street that runs through there, and I can't tell from looking at the earlier drawings whether or not they were actually using any portion of that paper street for parking or anything else associated with it. I believe that they have indicated that was going to be the case. The Ferrari versus Town of Hull Beach Avenue court case that was adjudicated, excuse me, in March of this year, utilizes the same maps that would impact what I believe was referred to as Bay Street, but that was since changed to Kadish. That the town had that right to that area of Beach Avenue. I've spoken with a counsel who's somewhat familiar with the case, and he feels that the applicant does not have the right to utilize any of that paper street for its purposes. And I would hope that that would be looked into in light of the appeals court decision. The appeals court ruled in favor of the town. They did not grant a stay, so that is in effect at this point in time. And it is my understanding that the same maps are in place for this situation here. Secondly, they seem to infer that they could do what they wanted there because it was paper. I think that issue really needs to be adjudicated and made clear that the town is not giving up what I believe is a clear right that it has. And I think that would impact the project, the manner in which they can handle parking. That is one concern. Two other concerns were raised after questions were raised by the not the plaintiff, excuse me, by the attorney. They indicated in the pavilion that they were putting up that there would be perhaps occasionally music or food trucks. There's also an extension of the pier. There's also the boat ramp at the end of V Street, which they own. All those things to me smell like commercial potential use. And that goes back to the original letter that I wrote on behalf of my 70 neighbors regarding the increased traffic on Kadish Avenue. I don't think that that has been properly addressed either. I think those are two very legitimate issues. And thirdly, they indicated when the question was raised about the dock on T Street, which is a safety hazard, kids carry on it. There's lumber that's loosened up and it has hit boats. But they were going back to the harbor master to find out what the solution to that could be. It's my understanding that's a Chapter 90 issue. They own the land, but they said they were going back to the harbor master. Have they? And if they have, what steps are they planning to take to address that issue on the property they own there also? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I was trying to go in order, so I will pop over here. I'm doing front row to second row, and then I will move here and there.
Thank you. Rebecca Sachs, 8 Kempton Ave. I wanted to ask the board if you could explain the ramifications to the project if you deny or accept their request for this continuance. I don't quite understand how it will affect the whole project, big picture, and how it'll affect the applicant if you choose to accept or deny their request for continuance. Can you explain that?
Certainly. They're asking for a continuance. They have given us parameters. So they are agreeing to one more meeting, which would be on May 27th. And then we have to have a decision by June
June 4th, I think?
4th.
Yep.
Okay? That's one option. Or we decide tonight that we don't see that this is going to be fruitful, and we vote on the project as it sits.
And the follow-up to that, based on your answer, is if you disapprove or vote against the project in its entirety, do they get to come back with another plan or not?
Sure.
They can?
Yeah. Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, Marie.
Marie Wentling, 18 Mayflower Road. I've got a couple of procedural I just want to clear up some of what I'm understanding happened, and then I have kind of one point to make that is not in my latest letter. So, Abby. First of all, so the request from the applicant for the continuance, I believe, Jean, you said, they referenced that the town planner requested 2 additional meetings and 2 extensions and provided them with draft conditions. Did the planning board provide those draft conditions to the town planner, and under what authority did the town planner have to request that to the applicant?
Usually for these projects, I draft approval or denial with conditions, for draft conditions. Those usually get sent to the applicant as well as the board. And so when we have future meetings, you know, there's always discussion about those conditions and how they're actually gonna be at the end of the decision.
So did you draft a denial and an approval and show them both to the applicant and not the board?
No, the board has both. The applicant doesn't have the denial.
And the board did not approve the conditions or draft the conditions themselves that went in that letter.
Yep.
Is that normal?
That's typically how we do it, yeah.
We have, Marie, just so you know, years ago, we decided we're going to have a set, there are standard conditions that go on every project that we do. So those are pretty set. I don't know how many, there's
15
15,
even, yeah.
16 conditions that go on every project we do. It could be something from the work hours or a wide variety of things. And then each project has their own specific conditions. I have not looked at what the town planner has drafted for conditions.
That seems inappropriate to me, that this happened the way it did, and I just want that on the record that I feel that way. My final point, and this is a big point, because we've got lost in the mud. I've been at all the meetings, I've written several letters, I've made phone calls, I've visited town hall, spoken to people in person. The bottom line is this project is not compatible with the neighborhood. I'm reading because I wrote something really good today, sorry. Setting aside the building commissioner's zoning decision, this project still does not fit in with this neighborhood. Where else in this section of town is there a residential building that's over 300 feet long? Nowhere. The proposed building is as long as the entire commercial strip in Ken Burma, from the hardware store to the eye doctors. A 300-foot-long building is beyond appropriate scale for this neighborhood. And that is a very specific thing that this board can rule on. Community impacts, design elements shall be compatible with the character and scale of neighboring properties. There is no 300-foot residential building in this area of town. We don't need something as long as the strip in Ken Burma. And gosh, I have to follow up on that, and it's just, it just doesn't fit. And my final thing is, the town council said, what are you gonna get by getting more time? And at the end of the day, this applicant has no intention of changing the general design of a 300-foot building. They may call it cottages and try to shift the perspective and say, oh, but they're cottages, but they don't get to have it two ways. They don't get to call it one building and call it individual cottages. At the end of the day, it's a 300-foot-long building, and that is not in scale to our neighborhood.
Thank you.
Pat Cormier, 14 Cushing. I go back to the original. If the builder were here, we would be, you'd potentially be able to ask them for information, answer some of your questions, right? And you'd be able to arrive at a decision. They've said, no, thank you. And yet you still don't have the information that you've been asking for. They've told you they aren't intending on giving you more information that they were asking for. You've got more information from your site review board that is saying, I think we should deny this because of X, Y, and Z. And it seems to me that it would make sense to deny it at this point, right? And part of, I'm saying this as somebody who drives by that place every day, the way it looks right now, right? Every day. And I would rather work with a builder that is willing to work with us and willing to show up and give the information and do things in a timely way, as opposed to a builder that sets demands the day of.
Right.
Right, I just find that as a lack of respect and a lack of showing respect for the town. I understand that they've tried, from what their point of view is, they've tried to make accommodations for public. You're not gonna please everybody, but I agree with Maria in saying you can't have it both ways. It's either separate units or it's a big, long building, and if it's a big, long building, then we get to take that into account, right? And I don't see, again, you guys getting any more information by extending this 27 to the 27. And I'm always a person that loves to extend the benefit of the doubt and assume positive intent. But this is really beginning to sound like a shell game to me. And a shell game is a shell game. And I don't, somebody might think that the public at whole are gonna buy that, but I don't think we have to buy that. And I'm here to say, I don't think something is better than what's there now. Right? We should be saying, we aren't yokels, we see what's going on, and we're gonna take a stand on that.
Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Liz, did you have any, I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Hold on.
Liz
Yes.
K, 45 Hampton Circle. Exactly the same, Pat, is what's going through my mind. It's just, this is not a partner, and the way they're acting now tells me the same way they'll act during the development. And I'm not sure if that's who I want as my friend and partner in town. I don't feel the trust or the respect going either way. And land is really precious in this town. Vistas and views are really precious, and we all know it. And I don't see them taking any of that into account. And I think their timelines are egregious. I think they're playing a game. And I would love to see us come from a place of prosperity and trust and love what we have and stand for what we want here.
Thank you.
Connie Franklin, 11 Radford Ave. I look down on this area. I see it, from my porch. I've been at that property for 70 years. A couple of points. I'm new to this process. I am an attorney, but new to this process.
You didn't have to admit that.
I'm okay, it's fine with that, though. What strikes me coming at this, and I am nowhere near as well informed as a number of other people, and certainly the board, is you have a proponent that is putting the onus on you. It's back-asswards. On you to do all of the work and the multiple changes and the patches and the incompletes and whatever. And, there is technology that lets you merge documents and amendments and have checklists to make sure that you've answered everything and that you're up to date and that things are dated and whatever. This is not rocket science. This is easy to do. And if you are a competent builder, developer, you do it, okay? So the question to me is, two of them, why on earth would you not exercise your legitimate authority and say, listen guys, you got it backwards, You're supposed to make our lives easier, You want something from us, make it possible. Give us what we're asking for. Every single time you make a revision, go back through absolutely everything and make sure everything it conforms and is consistent and complete. If you can't do that, how do you expect us to think you're going to be able to manage building a project like this? So that's not. And a corollary to that is, are they incompetent or is this purposeful? Right? Are they confused or are they trying to confuse you? Okay. The big thing that brought me down here tonight is, because I'm so old, I remember a lovely public beach at which Kelly took over in the 80s. All right, when I was a kid, we'd go to the ocean side in the morning, the east wind would come up. My mom would say, let's go over to the bay, it's nicer there. The town had a float. Yeah. Okay, kids could swim out to it and dive off to it. It was a ton of fun. The town even gave swimming lessons there. Because it's the bay, it's sheltered, okay? One of my neighbors who's deceased, but her grandson is still there, the Kennersons, okay? Marie Kennerson, worked very hard when Kelly pulled a switcheroo. And I actually looked up a little bit of title searching. What was the public beach, okay? In August of 1983, Kelly gave title of that to a guy named Larry Tightmore on August 8th. And on August 8th, Larry Tightmore gave title back to Kelly. You look in the Registry of Deeds and you go, huh? What the heck is this? Now, it was the 80s. Kelly was very well connected. I want that public beach. We all want that public beach. When my daughter was a kid, 40 years ago, and the marina was there, you could walk right through on that quote-unquote paper street. The marina that was there had a public way with a nice little bench, and you could just walk all the way through. It's, what, 40 years later? Access to the ocean and to the waterfront is much more, it's always been important, but it's even more dear now. Don't let us give it away. If the yellow stake that my neighbor placed to represent how far over the buildings were going to come, if that is accurate, they've taken over the public beach.
Right.
Specifically, parcel 12-110, because it's multiple parcels there. All right, that's it.
Thank you. Tom?
Tom Burns, Clifton Ave. I'm part of the Design Review Board. I'm just going to talk about maybe just three relatively important items. One is the whole sequencing of review, that the proponent would refer the planning board to make their determination, and then it would go to the conservation, where it either should go concurrently or it should go to conservation first and then to the planning board. That is, I think that's wrong. The unknown property, the unknown property owner on the north side, the fact that this could have advanced this far and we don't know who owns that property, and that it'll be taken care of when the closing happens. So this developer does not own the property. So the fact that that can't be vetted at this juncture should, I think, stop the project until that happens. The lack of police, the lack of traffic studies, what's going on right now on the seawall, the one-way and the potential traffic circle at that juncture would greatly impact this whole design. That hasn't been addressed. A review from fire. Our list goes on. I think we've had 4 pages repeatedly, and I just want to address those two. And for that alone, I concur that I think there should be a denial at this point in time.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Lisa?
Lisa French, 47 Rockaway. I emailed to Abby and to Cindy the planner's memo with instructions from the town manager and town council. I just emailed it to you, so you have it there in an email, so you can read from it. Is that the one I requested? Yes, it is. There. Yep.
Pam Hurlbert, 836 Nantasket Ave, the Boathouse condos right across. So we view it every single day. They kept ending anytime anybody brought something up that say, well, you know, it's better than what's there. And that's not how we should look at it. And I'd rather take an extra amount of time to get something that we're gonna love forever than have to swallow that. You know, and in terms of the plans, they really did change them each time we came here and took whatever it is they wanted to change. You know, changing the walkway from one side of the building to the other was dramatic. And then also, in terms of the plans they showed, they got such bad feedback. The next time they showed the plans, it was all in white, which made it really difficult to understand anything of where it was. And they changed where the pavilion or the public building was in terms of placement and also the shape of it. And originally, and I've said this before, Chris Real, it was supposed to be a pavilion, which we've got many pavilion-type buildings around the town. Several of them are the gazebos, which are very inviting and welcoming and appear to be a public place to come as a community. And what they have now attached to the 9th building just looks like an additional one of their buildings, and no one would ever think that wasn't. Plus, then they decided they were gonna put in a bathroom, which it's like, you know, our pipes freeze and we're enclosed brick buildings, you know, so, and they're closer to the bay, so are those pipes gonna freeze? Who's gonna take care, make sure those buildings are closed? So it was nothing the public wanted. No one expressed having that. They just decided to add it at last minute. And so, you know, in terms of, for us, you know, we certainly want something beautiful to look at. But it, as many people have said, it's actually gone further and further away from what we hoped.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Can we finish with public comment?
Sure.
Sir, and then
Paul Folletti, 874 Nantasket Ave. I was wondering, this might have already been answered throughout the process. I'm sorry I haven't been able to make the meeting. Originally, I had heard that these units were going to be $1.5 million units for 876 square foot buildings, because they were going to be individual cottages. So it makes me wonder if they're 1.5 million for such a small unit, and we've decided now we're going to connect the decking to make them multifamily use. Does that now create a problem of rental property or other usage, since they might not be able to get that 1.5 million that they wanted to get originally? It's just a little concerning to me that process, the way it's changed along the way, it seems like, I agree with everybody here, it's a detrimental change to the neighborhood. It's not characteristic at all to what's there. And I think that, again, you guys have the right to make that decision. I just wonder, if it's denied, what are their options? Do they sell the property to somebody else that might work better with us? Or do they have that option of saying, oh, so we're just gonna claim 40B, and we can go with the state now, we can build whatever we want? Is this a possibility?
sure.
Because it's happened in town.
Anything is a possibility. I mean, I can't sit here and say no.
They should know that they can do that as well. They can turn on us and go 40B and then have whatever type of housing they want to have. I don't care what it is, but they have that opportunity. They're doing it behind the medical center now, right?
No, that, I don't know, you could know better, Ed, but that, I haven't heard anything about that project for quite some time because there was a problem with the right-of-way, is that correct? Yeah, so there was an easement issue, so,
It's in land court, so.
yeah, so that's in court. Relative to the design, it has always been 9 units connected by a deck. Originally, the deck was on the water side, now the deck is on the street side, but it was always 9 separate units.
But
They-
not multifamily.
What's that?
But it wasn't listed as a multifamily unit.
No, it's
They were
listed
always
as
as cottages,
9 cottages.
individual
Yes.
cottages.
Yes, okay.
Okay. The traffic study that I think everybody was asking about, I think we're still waiting for a traffic study for the seawall, and we haven't seen one. So that would probably connect with that, because that intersection there is one of our major concerns. And we're still waiting for that. It's been over a year that we haven't seen it. So myself personally, I feel as though you have all the right in the world to deny these people from lack of information, which is not going through the process the correct way.
Okay, thank you.
Dave Wentley, Allerton. I'd like to say, first off, that I think it's really disrespectful of them to not show up tonight, cancel the day of the show, for whatever reason. It's still unclear. why they did it. And this is, just so you know, this is the second time they did this. They did it at the zoning board of appeals meeting as well. We were there, they weren't. So,
I was not aware.
hmm?
I was not aware of
They're
that.
opening.
Yes, this is the second time they did that to us, so, you know. We all plan our days around something like this, you know, when we have to change our dinner plans, and they don't show up. you know,
I'd
so.
like to make a motion.
Okay. Oh, he wasn't finished.
Sorry.
Finish up. Thank you.
Another thing I just want to
Sorry.
bring up, kind of because of what he said, I took it upon myself to email the DCR, the board of the DCR, about this property. And I just threw it out there. I told them what was going on, and it seemed a little disingenuous about it. And there's a possibility it might get canceled, and they might run away from it, because there's a lot going on here. And I sent them pictures. They looked at the property, and they said it's very interesting. And so I did reach out to Conservation, but I haven't heard back. I just want, you know, there's other options besides a 300-foot long building, possibly, you know. So I just wanted to say that. The other thing was you guys got my letter about the audio, or the sound, and the reflections that come off of a 300-foot building. I'm an audio engineer for 51 years, so I know a little bit about this. Also, underneath the building, because they're up on pilings, it's what we call a bass trap. And you know, I've done 8,000 concerts all over the world, and all kinds of, I wouldn't want to do a concert in front of that building, put it that way. But in the summertime, motorcycles going by, it's really loud. And the bass frequencies are going to get caught underneath this thing, and they are non-directional, so it will be a spherical projection for those frequencies. It would affect everybody on Kadish Ave and all of Allerton Hill. Bass frequencies really travel, so that is definitely a thing. It's a big flat wall, and the caverns between the buildings and underneath are going to hold those bass frequencies. And the motorcycles, when they see that open road, they gun it right there. So it's really loud. It's going to be louder. So, thank you.
Based on the current
Thank you.
record for the board, I do not believe sufficient information has been provided for the board to make the required findings under the zoning bylaw. I move to deny this application.
Is there a second?
I second.
Discussion?
Discussion.
Nathan,
Points.
speak up.
Yep. So 2 points. I think it's right direction, right? But do we want to deny this because of a lack of information, or do we feel like we have sufficient information to deny it on its face? It is a 300-foot building within the community that we like. And I just feel like a process charge, if we actually have, is arguable, right? Versus if we just look at it and say, hey, this is just does not fit, then we're done. I'm done.
You're done?
Discuss.
Okay.
We have a clear ability to deny based on lack of information. And I think that that is probably the most straightforward way to do it without, because there's no way to refute that.
Well, that's not true.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I agree with you, but that is not necessarily.
I think we do.
It has to be based in what our, what we're charged with, right? So it can't go out of that scope, which is why we were talking, yeah.
I don't think you have to give reasons.
It's just a site plan review, though. It's not special it's not a special
Yeah,
permit.
it's not a special permit, site
Site
plan
plan
review.
review.
I think for site plan review, we do
So-
need to give.
You might need to give,
Oh.
I think you'd have to give some reason. You'd
Right.
have
Well, then-
less flexibility.
Failure of cooperation.
Yeah.
Just keep it as simple as you can, because every word is a potential appeal. And these guys are going straight to court, or they're gonna walk away.
Take your pick.
So
Um,
I guess I would just say, I think you have a better chance with your reasoning than the 300-foot doesn't fit in the neighborhood reasoning. That's more of a special permit.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Marie?
I would just say why, if that's more of a special permit, I'm reading the exact, from the zoning bylaws, what the planning board's design guidelines and guiding principles are. And the not contiguous with the neighborhood is right in there.
That's in everything.
The planning board should use the following principles.
If there is a
If
chance it
that's
could
a-
be open to interpretation,
Right.
then we want to stay away from it because we want this to hold up.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. We did not,
It doesn't mean that those other reasons aren't there, but this is the primary reason.
yes. Okay, is there any
Yeah.
further discussion? I'm sorry.
Did you have a comment, ma'am?
Is there any reason why it cannot be, can't you say, for lack of sufficient information and because it doesn't fit with the neighborhood?
No.
You have to say only one thing?
No, but you're an attorney. The more you give them, the more ways they'll have to appeal. What you want to give them is you failed to cooperate, and that's the only fight that you can
Fail to
have.
cooperate, which is not necessarily the
Yeah.
same. It's not just that it's insufficient, it's that the
The-
information that's been given is incomplete and inconsistent
Yes.
and non-responsive.
And it has been
All
asked
of those
for
are-
many times.
That's inferred in this.
Yes.
Gee, I am not an attorney.
Yes.
You don't go brag.
Bravo. Chantel, neither am
But
I.
I did stay at a Holiday Inn, not too long. So, I think unless there's more, comment,
Yes.
then we did
Yes.
have a call to.
There is. I was just looking for comments here on the board. Does anybody else have any,
I just have one
Cindy?
more little comment to make
Okay.
for future processes, that maybe we should consider charging a fee for modifications, because I don't think they would be so, okay.
yeah, we need to stay focused
okay.
on what we're voting on. Thank you. Okay, so there's been a motion made. It's been seconded. Meg?
Can I just ask, sorry,
Sure.
another procedural question? Do we have to vote on the continuance request first before we vote on the project, or it's okay to vote on the project and then vote on that? Either way is fine.
I don't believe so.
Just, again, I'm also not an attorney.
Holiday Inn, though.
We're very lucky.
We're in Orlando.
I was not at the Holiday Inn, unfortunately. But we do need to, I guess I'm just questioning, when we provide a decision, either yay or nay, will we review, there's more in that decision that was written that we have not reviewed yet.
Well, we can review that. I would imagine we can review that before it goes out.
Okay, that's just what I want to confirm, is that, if we're.
So if you
Sorry.
don't,
The
if you don't
timing.
accept the continuance,
Mm-hmm.
then we need to have a decision filed, I think, by Tuesday.
Right.
That's where we're voting.
But if you don't, right, but if you vote against it, you didn't accept the continuance.
If you vote against it, right. If you
So
don't accept the continuance, you have to have the decision. If you accept the continuance, you have until
Right.
the
So
4th
if
to
we-
get your decision.
So your answer, if we said no, is
We gotta
No.
get this thing filed, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'd have to look at it tonight, review it tonight.
Yeah. Would
Sure.
looking at this?
Yes.
Okay.
The denial.
Okay,
Yep.
no, it's just, I'm just trying to understand the order and, yeah, I mean, I feel like we have not, there are a lot of concerns. We've gotten a lot of letters, there are a lot of unanswered questions, and we have not received some of the things that we've asked for, and it has, unfortunately not gone the way that I think we hoped when we started this, so, yeah.
Okay. Any further comments from the board?
I'm still a yes and, but, I think multiple reasons is helpful, but
Okay.
I defer to kinda counsel.
Okay, then I am going to do a roll call vote, starting at my left.
You have to.
What?
Actually say the question. in affirmative.
Okay, that, I am sorry.
That's okay.
There was a motion to deny the project.
I for denial. So yes, I deny.
Okay. Cindy?
Yes, I deny.
Abby?
I deny, yes.
Deny.
I will vote yes to deny.
Deny. All right, that is a unanimous. All right, that is a unanimous vote of the planning board. Lisa?
I still would really like that read into the record, the memo from the planner about the decision of the town manager and the,
It was not a decision of the town manager. Well, it
well,
was
it was said, I
town
read it,
council.
and it said that it was, it said
Yeah.
that they discussed it and they had, would you please read it? I mean, I think it's important.
You already denied it.
No,
No, this
no.
is, this hearing, this has just ended with this vote.
Yeah.
And once again, you have a attorney-client privilege issue that you should not rush into violating. Please.
I respectfully disagree in the interpretation of that, but I appreciate. I'm not. So I'm objective.
I respectfully disagree with your disagreement.
I think
That's fair.
what I agree with is that that did end the hearing.
Yes.
That, the vote did end the hearing.
Correct.
I thought we were talking about the fees.
Well,
This is separate from the hearing.
this, now we look
Okay.
at the conditions, but the hearing is finished. So then we have to move on to the conditions for this.
No conditions, just findings.
Just findings, it's not, excuse me, not conditions, findings. I'm sorry, I'm used to it going the other way.
There's mistakes on the dates on your letter here. You have like 5/20 on the second page, the stormwater report, you have 2/12/25, those should be 26. And there's a bunch of those. Yeah, vehicle turning, exits, exhibits.
Good, sure.
Yeah, I'll go through those dates again.
I think we should. I think we should. We have this draft. I don't know whether anybody has had time to digest this or not. And I do believe that we should have Attorney Winter
No doubt.
review.
Yep.
And I think we need to be clear why we denied, which was insufficient information. And take it from there. So I think we should, how does the board want to proceed? Just turn it over to Brian, or what would you like to do?
You talk to Brian, or one of us talks to Brian and explain
Okay.
the situation, and then draft.
Could you speak louder, please?
I'm sorry.
I don't know about you, but Abby, could you speak louder, everyone?
Sure. I was suggesting that our chair or someone designated by the chair from the board speak with town council to ensure that the letter is crafted properly, and provide town council with the reasons behind it so that he can help us craft the letter.
Well, it's the decision, really.
Decision, yeah.
Yes. The decision.
We just make sure wording is legally sound.
Yes.
And then.
Right.
And that the findings are articulated the right way.
Okay, so that will be, does anybody have any particular things that they would like, they want to have cited? I mean, it's essentially a lack of information is
Yeah.
how you stated it.
Are we giving, are we giving specific examples of the information that, how deep is that going?
I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know what he's
Yeah,
gonna
that-
want
that-
as
that's-
far as.
That's where I do think we should have Brian take a look at it, because I think that, you know, there is gonna be a question of, we will need to justify what that information is that we did not have. So we can provide this very
Yes.
detailed list that we've received, and he can work that in.
Okay.
The
Ed?
only thing I would note,
With the zoning board, a lot of times, when we make a decision, we'll ask Brian to write the decision. And he writes it, tell him exactly what, you know, value the property, and he writes it in the legal way, and you're covered.
Okay, very good. I'll speak to him.
Madam
Thank
Chair,
you.
one
Yes.
additional thought. I would like it noted in the decision that the proponent did not appear tonight.
Yes.
And we had questions to ask them. I
Yes.
think that is a helpful element of this.
And to my knowledge, there has been no reason given for that, it doesn't, I guess it doesn't matter at this point.
It is not as though we are ignoring, hey, I had a car accident, my
Right,
mother
right,
died,
right,
or
right.
whatever. It's,
Right, just no, they just didn't show
Another
up.
time.
right, so,
Delay
that's that.
It's a delay tax.
I will make not, I do not make any judgment as to why. It is what it is, and we should so note it. So that's a good idea. That will be on my list for Brian. So, so.
I move to approve the minutes of March 18th.
Swiftly moving right along. March 18th. Yes,
Given that we have some elections coming up, I believe,
yes.
and Cindy has put in her.
Yeah, that's my last day.
Resignation. I just wanted to acknowledge your work and to thank you for everything you've contributed and,
Or not, no.
And I know you'll be in the audience, so I don't have to worry about that.
We're gonna see you, for
you'll see me
sure.
around.
Hopefully. No, your attention to detail, Cindy, is.
It is impeccable.
Impeccable, so, thank you so much.
Well, if we're not going to deal with the minutes, then I would add to that. While we don't always disagree on everything, I have always found people that are passionate about public service. They always have a sweet spot in my heart. I think there are a lot of people who do this for the wrong reasons. There are a lot of people who do it for just to fill a seat or something, or pad a resume. You have brought an amount of passion to the role, and I appreciate that immensely. I think it speaks to a heart of public service, and I appreciate that more than you know.
Oh, thank you very much.
I agree, Cindy, I know we haven't always fallen on the same side, but I've appreciated our discussions, and I've appreciated all of the things that you have brought up, that we've worked through, and I appreciate your time on the board and your service.
And you've all helped me to work better with other people. I can be in my own lane sometimes, so I like everybody, how they worked with everything.
We are all a work in progress.
Thank you. We are all a work in progress.
I can't change my mind.
We are all a work in progress. Yeah.
Except for Abby, apparently.
Well,
She nailed
okay.
it.
I guess.
No.
Okay.
Heavy sarcasm.
Thank you very much. So where were we going? Oh, minutes. Minutes. Okay, March 18th minutes. Nathan, did you make a motion?
I did.
Was it seconded? It was not.
What was this? What was the
Uh,
motion? Sorry.
To approve the minutes
Nathan
of
made
the
a
18th.
motion to approve the minutes of March 18th. March.
This is why I always want to do the
Don't
minutes
mess
first.
me up. It's March 18th.
Okay.
The minutes, March 18th. In our packet.
Yes, yes, but
No, it's like
the
this.
ones I was looking at
Right,
at
it's
home
towards the very
It's
end.
after the agenda. Yes.
The last two documents.
I
are
gotcha,
the
okay.
minutes.
Yes.
These are long delayed.
So, we've got a motion, and did we have a second?
March 18th.
I second.
Okay.
So that would be Schulte second.
Okay.
My only request for these minutes is that they add spacing between paragraphs. I think it's easier to read.
I agree.
I know it adds length, but
And they haven't been putting any stop times on anything for quite some time. Let's check that out.
It doesn't say draft. Well,
Yeah,
I
they don't
guess-
put the time anymore when it adjourns.
I guess the
They've been skipping that lately, I noticed. After the fact. Sometimes,
we'll ran out of tape.
Okay.
so they should be putting, it should always have the adjournment time on it.
Okay. All right, so other than that, we have the motion for the minutes. We have a second. If there's no further comment, starting at my left.
Payton, aye.
Aye.
Who are you?
Gorgeous.
Kleeman, aye.
Schulte, aye.
Riley, aye.
Paquin, aye. All right, unanimous. And the next ones are the minutes of April 8th.
Similarly, the request for spacing between paragraphs, but I do appreciate the pagination.
Okay.
Are we comfortable with the word draft up top as opposed to across?
Draft. Typically, we've been seeing draft across it. Now it's just,
Choice.
yeah. I
It's
think
noted.
as long as it's noted and it's on every page, that would be
It is.
the thing for me.
Well, it's probably preferred if it would be the other way, because all you have to do is white out one little word. and-
Whiteout? Who uses whiteout?
Look at, she knows all my
I
office
know about
supplies.
whiteout. It should be
So,
consistent. So I agree with that.
Yeah.
And I would prefer the way you're saying it, but technically
Right,
it does have draft across it.
Yeah.
okay. Did
But I don't know
somebody
why they
make a
switched it
motion?
back, because they used to do it the other way. That's what I'm saying, so they, not like they didn't do it the other way.
Is it a different
they-
person doing the minutes? There we are.
Third
So-
person or second?
Second person.
Have you guys considered AI?
She was
You
doing
guys
the,
interview for
Were
that?
you
How do
at the
pick-
board-
how do
were you
pick
at the
people?
town hall?
she was doing the ones with it.
The Commonwealth
Okay.
of Massachusetts, for which we are a subset, has a position on that.
And does this have an end time on it?
Nope. So I've made a note that we should have adjournment time and spacing. But I still haven't had a motion or a second
To,
for the minutes.
somebody move to, you need approval to move
Yes,
the first approval?
yes.
We already voted on the first set. This is the
No, I
second
didn't, you
set.
approval for, the first approval for the second set?
Yes, someone
Yeah, I
needs to
move
make.
to approve.
Thank you. Is there a
I will second that.
Great.
Cindy,
second probably, though.
excellent, okay. All those in favor of approving these minutes? Nathan?
I understand the purpose of reading something into the record and referencing it. I'm
Yes.
just not sure that a verbatim inside the minutes, I think just introduces too much risk of deviation from the actual correspondence. The
Okay.
correspondence should just be made available. It's nice that it's noted in the minutes, but
All right, well, we can make a note of that for
like,
future
I don't want the minutes
minutes.
to have a word that's different than the letter,
Yeah.
right? Because it was misspoken or somebody.
True.
Somebody's
So-
just reading it from a tape or a recorded
Yeah,
conversation.
you can index it and just, yeah.
Yeah, in the future, just a reference letter, blah, 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 and the date and who it's from. I think that would be sufficient, correct?
Yeah, I just think it's, like, runs the risk of error or misinterpretation for no reason.
Okay, a specific reference will do the trick on that. Okay,
Same request
was
for
it seconded?
spacing between paragraphs.
I got that.
Was it seconded?
Yes, it was. It was
that's right.
made by Chandel, it was seconded by Cindy. So Nathan?
Payton, aye.
Cindy?
Burgess, aye.
Kleeman, aye.
Schulte, aye.
Riley, aye.
Paquin, aye. Okay, there we go.
I was not present, but I listened to it in great detail.
Okay. the next thing on our agenda is project updates.
How's XYZ Street?
Chris?
XYZ
Too soon?
Are
Too
we-
soon?
We're still being televised, correct?
Yes, we are.
Thank you for getting us back to our regularly scheduled program.
5/14/26, there you go. And, so are there any project updates, Chris?
Not really.
Okay.
You know, Paragon's moving along.
Are they doing weekly updates? Because I looked on the things, weekly updates, and the last one was in March.
Yeah, we can get
Yeah.
back to those.
There we go.
Relative to,
They're, you know, that whole issue with the closing of George Washington Boulevard.
Yes.
So they're going back to DOT, and they're providing a new plan for that, where it's gonna be like kind of a, so they're not gonna be closing up a lane, it's gonna be kind of like
It's like a New
overhead
York
protection.
City.
Yep, yep, just along the sidewalk there, so.
Mhm.
So I think DCR still needs to approve that, the town still needs to approve that, but certainly a better situation than closing George Washington Boulevard.
So that meeting didn't happen, with Delbrook the other day, yesterday?
No.
Today?
I think it's next Tuesday.
Next
I think I sent you an invite on that.
Okay, I'll look for that. Well,
Chris, what's, is it Pump 9? Is that right? What's
no,
the-
it's with.
Pump
The one
9.
over by,
Oh,
right
at the high school?
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, because they have to do that lane.
Not exactly sure what's happening. I think I heard they're getting kind of close to finishing
Well,
that.
I know Jen, Constable, had said that, but then I went on the website to just kind of look at project updates, and it
If I'm
said it
not
was complete
reelected,
and all the
I'll have somebody
parking was
else.
restored.
I'm sorry, at the high school?
No, the parking's
Yeah,
Or the one by the boat? The pump?
the one right out here?
I don't know which way I'm
Behind
facing.
you.
The one, yes,
Behind
Yes,
you.
the one where people park to
Correct.
take the ferry.
Correct.
No, it is, the
It's not
parking
done
has
yet.
not been restored.
correct, but I'm saying it
I can
does-
see that with my own eyes and with my suitcase that is
Yeah.
operating.
It does-
There's no space.
I drove by it, well, I drive by it all the time, but I read it and I'm like, that's not true.
Well, there's a lot,
Right,
yeah.
right, right.
Why is it taking so long?
I don't know, I just want whatever information is out there to be accurate.
Yeah.
Summer is coming and the
Yeah.
people will be.
I think
Are
they're
they
gonna move
still
pretty quick.
leaving the remains of the old one? Is that?
The pump house?
Yep.
Yes, because they're gonna use it for another,
For like an outflow or
there's,
something.
yeah.
They're building an
It could be
entire
useful,
seawall.
I think, in alleviating
They're
some,
gonna retrofit it.
some flooding in the area. So somebody came up with the idea to, I don't know.
So it's,
Check with John Struzzieri, he'd be the person.
Gene, keeping it
Was our
for,
site plan formal?
Sorry, what?
Review of that project?
It came through the planning board, yep.
Mm-hmm, it did.
Wait, that must.
A long time
Yeah,
ago.
it's
Yeah,
been
a
a
long time
while.
ago.
That had to be like,
I
what,
just don't
4,
remember that being the ending.
5
Four,
years
5
ago?
years, yeah.
so they're keeping that old pump because they intend to potentially use it again? Is that what you're saying? For pumping purposes? I thought it was for a platform.
There's something about,
I would like to be
and
on that
I'm
platform
way,
more.
I'm way out of my depth here.
Okay, I'm just,
But there was something about keeping part of whatever existed with the old pump house because they could use it somehow. That's all I'll
I
say.
think they're using it to like pump out stuff. Like,
no, I thought they were, anyway. Great, but if we could just
Nathan.
make sure the information on the
Makes
website
sense to me that if there's
matches.
Is that on our
still
Yeah.
utility
Yeah, I
in
think
the
so.
old structure.
Community
Went
development
under
and planning?
You know, in the project section?
Right.
I
Planning
would
board?
just, if we
No,
went
no,
through the
no, in
process
town, in the
of
town.
site plan
Oh,
review,
okay.
that is not the ending condition that we approve. Like that we should hold people to the same standard, the town to the same standard we would any other developer.
Yep. Chris,
Have a quick determination and be done with it.
can you just check what we approved and do we need to make some change to whatever the approval is?
Yep.
Uh,
You're talking about if that structure's remaining in some way?
Right.
Yeah,
I
or
just don't
should, would
remember
it,
that being the end state.
yeah, I mean,
I
would
believed
it,
it
was
wasn't.
completely gone.
would it
Right.
make sense to have, sorry, Jean, I should,
Let's go ahead, Meg.
would it make sense, like, Chris, could you share sort of the conditions with, because some
Sure.
board members, myself, weren't on
Yeah.
the board yet, and maybe it would make sense for us to review and just refresh, you know, and check back in. I think
Sure.
that's a good practice.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like, thank you, Nathan, for suggesting that.
No other project updates?
Tower's getting near completion.
Excellent.
Electric is good. They poured the observation deck.
So you will be able to go up there?
I mean, you're not gonna fall through the floor, yeah, it's gonna be, you know, I mean, it's like,
There was a
it's solid.
question-
It's not gonna, the doors aren't gonna be open all the time, but I'm imagining that they will have tours where people will be able to walk up there.
That,
It's-
I think that's, yes,
Yeah.
A, we do.
I don't want it just open all
Obviously,
the
I don't,
time.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
wanna fall through the floor,
Right.
or anyone to fall through the
Yeah,
floor.
yeah.
I thought
No,
you-
it's-
That's a good bar that we've met
it's,
that, and then the idea is
There are
that.
stairs,
Yes.
there's an
And
observation
there's
deck
a
like it was
door,
before.
and so there might be, but is there
CBC
something
at its
that the
finest.
town needs to do to sort of get a volunteer
Not
group
volunteer
together
the
who
floor.
can open the door and,
Well, I thought there was a conversation
So,
about
yeah.
whether it would be open to the public or not. That was the last
I guess that's
conversation.
who's having
Depends
that?
what you mean by that, open to the public, I mean, like
A
I said. I-
tour on
I
a
think that'd be
regular
tour-
basis,
That'd be the
set
select board, up
hours.
to
As
the
the
select
public,
board.
I would like to go up in this tower that we have paid
Well, I
for,
think
so is it the select board that I bring my?
Yes.
All right, I will bring,
Let's
I've
go.
heard that the whole
Great.
life-saving museum is gonna be the stewards of that, and then-
Okay.
okay, that could be good.
That could
Is
be
that
good.
ha-
The-
That's,
Well-
select board is just the answer that I needed.
Yeah, but there should be actual, like, public dates too, not just like fundraising dates. You know,
In an
Oh,
ideal
yeah.
world, we'll go to,
'Cause- Yes, Abby?
What is the plan for the gas line replacement? And I've heard different things, like it's gonna go through the summer. How is this going to work? Because that's also a choke point. I'm just wondering if you know
Gas, no,
what it is.
where?
yeah, where is that?
What's
Where-
occurring right now?
Right outside my
on-
door.
on
Oh, gosh.
Green Mountain Avenue?
In my parking space.
Yes, I know, I can't get out of my.
They didn't tell
In
you?
front of my
Do
garage.
you know what's happening that, now, I had
Not with
understood
the gas line, no.
that they're, right now, they're working on the avenue. What is the schedule on that? And did,
I don't know.
I would imagine, who is this? Is this National Grid?
Are you talking about
Who is it?
Nantasket Ave?
Yeah.
Because it goes from basically Village Market to Cumberland Farms. And that's from April till August.
Yep.
Because I live in the building, I got the notice. They said they're trying to do like this area right in front of my house first, because that is the choke point, so they're trying to get like
Okay.
fix in that little part done, and they're on Mountford now.
Mm-hmm.
But they've been down further. I saw them down there and I was like, oh, great, they're not by my house, but they were at my house.
Yeah.
So they got multiple crews out.
I went to pick up my sign for STEM to CERN, so 25 Lafayette, if anyone would like to come by.
What are you offering?
I have good stuff.
She does.
I've
She has
moved
good
many
stuff.
times, and I'm ready to get rid of it. But it took me an hour to get to Alchemy from the village, because every way I tried to go, I just was thwarted.
And it's not even
And
summer.
also the detour, they have you go all the way up Samoset. So I don't know if they're doing a traffic study now and they're trying to like increase the traffic on Samoset right now to be like insane. But like, no, I mean, seriously, when you ever see a Manomet or Samoset traffic study, see if it was this week, because there's way too much going on over there. It's just crazy.
Is that, I had thought that replacement was going to be on Manomet or Samoset, and I did not realize that it was gonna be on the avenue. It's like crazy.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
I-
bad.
Yeah. I'll
so
see what I can find out for you.
That would be really great.
They dig the hole, they pave it over,
Yeah, they
and then
do.
the next day they come and they break it through again.
Yeah, they moved a little bit further.
They just double check it.
Who's running
I'm
the
like, you know what,
project?
I've smelled gas at my apartment, so I'm not
state? Is it-
complaining. I'm not, like,
I
I want
also-
the
I
gas
don't-
lines
Utilities.
replaced, so. I'm-
Yeah, it must
I'm-
be the utilities doing that.
The
I don't know
lower
who else
will
put some
shut
gas
off valve
lines.
that
Yeah,
sticks
that
out
sounds-
like
yeah.
a foot and a half.
The one by your house.
By my house.
When you drive.
And why don't we, why
But
does
they promised
nobody
to
at
do
this
it, 'cause
table
of what
have
I'm
any
told.
idea what
Oh,
it's
nice.
The gas line replacement is not in our purview.
No.
No,
It's just more about.
It would be
We
nice
should
to
know.
know.
It would be nice to know, but it is not a failing of this board.
Right.
No. But I do think that the town needs to know.
The town should know.
communication
I'm sure
would
the
be
town
better.
knows, but I don't happen to know.
I didn't know.
Well, no, I mean, they only
Well, that's
notify
the town
people if you
hall.
live
When I
there.
say the town, I mean the townspeople.
People, yes.
Having having a little more information on it.
Right,
like,
right.
So
I'm
they
just-
can plan
that-
their
it's
journey.
just a
That
nice
may come
process
from
where
a
it's like,
large
hey, let me
public
put a note on
utility,
your
which
door
are
and say,
traditionally not
tomorrow,
Yeah.
we need you to move your
Or
car.
via,
Yeah,
Hey,
yes.
move the car right now.
Anyways, can we,
So, yes, moving right along. So project updates, that's it for the moment. Any committee or subcommittee updates or discussions?
the Economic Development Committee will meet next week. So I look forward to regrouping with them since I had to miss a couple of meetings, so one, I think,
Excellent.
one or two.
Okay,
So I will give an update next time after that meeting.
okay, very good. Anybody else?
The South Shore Coalition keeps canceling their quarterly meetings, which is
No longer
unfortunate.
quarterly?
Yeah, no longer quarterly. And the zoning bylaw committee is awaiting this year,
Well,
town meeting.
I think it was, I mean, I know that, I don't know, I'm talking like I'm gonna be here, but the thought was to get right back on zoning right after the election. Like, there is no more waiting until September, because September becomes October and it just gets too rushed. And, right, exactly, exactly, like, just like, jump right back into it. Right back into it.
Abby, you're still currently our rep for the ZBC, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so, you know, I hope that's the case, that, you know, I think we should consider what we want to look at. We need to look at the flexible plan. I had suggested to Susan that maybe we look at it together. So I think that that could be beneficial. Meg?
She's on top of it.
We should also look at the, for the site plan review, the timelines that that are self-inflicted. I think it's 65 days. That is something that we've put in there. I think based on this project, maybe that's something we should discuss or
Sure.
have the ZBC look at.
There's another one, it's a small one, but even in the fact that I think it's like footnote F mentions models, and I think that things have progressed, and I think that we should also add, I thought that when Paragon came before us, that flyover thing really gave you such a great sense of what it was going to be like. And from what I hear from architects, it's like models are kind of a little on the passé side. But we do need a good representation of what a project looks like in its environment. Yeah, in context, really. I think that's important.
And we should move the 100 feet to 200 feet.
At town meeting, did the ADU site plan review come back to the planning board? Or was that denied?
Not this year.
It was denied? It didn't even come before, did it?
It was approved last year.
Are ADUs even a thing?
Yeah.
Because there's no application online, there's not.
We have another one coming up next week.
Okay.
We just had one.
Right, so.
Yeah, one of the,
So that's it. No other subcommittee or committee updates.
master plan starting next week, you said to everybody?
I would, not next week, so master plan, I would like to see on the agenda for the 27th. I think we need to get right back into that.
Are we meeting on the 27th
That's our regular meeting.
of May?
May 27th is our next regularly scheduled meeting, yes.
Okay.
So, if I'm not here, please put it on the agenda. I think it's, I mean, I just think it's so important. It has to get going.
Yeah, no
So,
doubt.
That would be,
Nathan,
that,
do you have something to say?
I do. There's a Community Preservation Act forum, I believe is still coming up. It should be on the website right now. But more importantly, I do move to adjourn.
I was waiting.
Second.
all those in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Thank you.